Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. Today, let's talk Malik Nabers, one of my favorite receivers in all of football, and I'll go out on a limb and say he's already one of the best receivers in all of football. I'm not just talking about rookies. This is the type of guy that the New York Giants and Joe Schoen envisioned when they took Malik Nabers out of LSU with the 6th overall pick in the first round. Through 4 games, Malik Nabers has 35 receptions on 52 targets for 386 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, there's a lot of things we're going to talk about in today's video, and I want to get to them all, so let's roll the tape. So if you really want to know why I think Malik Nabers is already so special, why I give him such high praise, as a rookie through 4 games, the entire New York Giants offense runs through Malik Nabers, and they ask him to do different things. There will be times where they say, okay, Malik, get your head around quick, find a soft spot in the zone, be there for Daniel Jones, let's get into short yardage situations, manageable downs. Or there will be times where they'll say, okay, Malik, line up outside. You're going to have to hand fight. You're going to have to go to the bank and cash in. Malik Nabers can cash in and win a one-on-one matchup. And then there's times where he just flat out bails out Daniel Jones. When we put the football in the air, it's going to be a 50-50 ball. I trust Malik Nabers to beat any corner that's in front of him. That's also what they ask him to do, and he has the requisite ball skills to get that job done. So I think the icing on the cake, along with everything that he already does for this football team, he has elite burst when running routes. And I've seen a lot of different guys run routes, but I think when I watch Malik Nabers run routes, he's just so quick in and out of his breaks. And when he bursts, if he's running a double move, if he's really getting into his route, this guy has some elite athleticism. And the last thing is, he's a 3-level threat. They ask him to get into the quick game. They ask him to get into the intermediate section of the field. And they ask him to go deep when necessary and get a big-time explosive play. Now, I want to revert back to what I was talking about. When I say finding a soft spot in the zone, let's touch a little bit more on that and see exactly what I mean when Malik Nabers has to have that connection with Daniel Jones and be able to get the ball quick. Now, let's take this play right here for example. If you've watched any breakdown or game recap that I've done of the Dallas Cowboys, when they get in this too high shell, you already know what time it is. Let's run Tampa 2. That was what Dan Quinn loved to do with this defense, and we see Mike Zimmer implementing some of that as well. Now, as we get this motion right here and Malik Nabers becomes our new number 1, I want you to focus on our inside receiver. Watch how Eric Kendricks runs the pole with this new inside threat. And now, if we're Kalen Carson, Malik Nabers is flying off of the football. He's immediately in our cushion. And mind you, we're the flat defender right here. So once he passes that off, and it's all about timing, Malik Nabers has to run this route at full speed because he has to reach his landmark. As soon as Eric Kendricks is cleared, Malik Nabers has to be showing between these 2 linebackers. Boom, Daniel Jones, perfect timing, perfect ball. Malik Nabers finding that soft spot in the zone, and Brian Daboll giving this guy opportunities to get the football in his hands with great scheming in the passing game. Let's get to the next play. Now, if you want to see somebody running routes, this play is going to do it for you. Malik Nabers, man, listen, I have to keep my composure during these breakdowns, but it's really hard when you got guys doing things like this. Let's talk about the play. And this is a corner that I like in Martin Emerson Jr., but you're up against it down here in the red zone. Now, we get another motion. Before the play, we get Malik Nabers. He's lined up one-on-one outside with Martin Emerson Jr. Now, if I'm Martin Emerson Jr., I'm already in the mindset. I'm thinking, okay, whip, zig, fade route. I'm thinking anything outside is what I cannot allow to the pylon. There's a lot of bodies inside. So if I can force him inside, maybe I have a little bit of help. Even though we have some other guys in man assignments, it's just naturally going to be a tougher throw for Daniel Jones, or he may not get to the throw as quick. Now, Malik Nabers, man, when he gets into this route, so like I said, if you're Martin Emerson Jr., we can see when Malik Nabers gets to the top of his stem, look at Martin Emerson Jr. You have to really zoom in, but he's a step outside. So now, when we neutralize his feet with this stem, we're going to burst inside. And this is what I talk about when I say Malik Nabers having explosive elite burst. Look at how he gets inside right here as he gets into this break. Boom. Now, okay, we're Martin Emerson Jr. We're in trail technique. Our feet are neutralized. Now, if we have a guy like Malik Nabers bursting inside, We have to run with that. But this is what he does so well. I think out of all of the plays we're going to talk about, this may be my favorite route just because of how he runs it. Get to the top of the stem, boom, burst inside. Now, it's the second move that's so explosive, and this is what really creates the separation. I'm Martin Emerson Jr. I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting ready to bump and run. I'm getting ready to play some trail technique. Now, that's not even the case, because as soon as we get into this break and we burst inside, boom, now we're back outside wide open. Great ball skills. Go up in the air, track it down, make sure you get the touchdown. This is a tough catch. Even though he's wide open, this is a tough catch, and you have to have some body control to be able to make this 6. Listen, let's get to the next play. I got some more to show you. Now listen, I know there's a high possibility that you already saw this play. This was the talk of the night. Even in the New York Giants loss, Malik Nabers had a big time game versus Dallas. And this was one of the routes that he started the game off with early, and it was just chef's kiss. Now, Andrew Booth, I understand. 2 pretty women can look the same until you actually get to meet them. Malik Nabers sells this route just like it's your typical slant route. Let's look at Malik Nabers coming off of the football. Everything is telling me we're coming off of the football. We get this inside step late. So now, boom, and it's the head and the hips. We got to really sell this thing. And I think when you talk about double moves, that's why some receivers will run double moves and you see the corner just sit on it, because you have to sell it just like it's the same. If you're 2 pretty women, you're selling the looks, but the personality is completely different. Right here, this is the same look of a slant route, but it's an actually different route. Now, like I said, this is the burst, because we have to be able to get out of this route. Once we sell it, head, hips, boom, turn. Now, get our head around, snatch. We're wide open. And that's something that you talk about when you say twitch, explosiveness, agility, everything you want to talk about, elite athleticism. This allows Malik Nabers to get into this double move like this, and he sells it so perfect. That's really why you see the corner bite like this, because understanding at one point he thinks, okay, we got a slant route, I'm jumping this, but you guess wrong. Big time catch by Malik Nabers, man. And if it wasn't for that safety, I think I saw some things talking about Daniel Jones could have made this a better throw, but I think this was a pretty solid throw given the safety. And I think Malik still had a shot to cut back inside, but it's the safety breaking down, making a sound tackle out of bounds. So I think by now you start to kind of get the feel of what I'm seeing with Malik Nabers, why I'm so high on this guy. And really, you have to naturally expect, for a guy with this type of acceleration, he's going to get some off coverage looks at some point. And just as he can accelerate, he can also decelerate. This is a guy that's going to live off of comeback routes, deep curls, things of that nature. Just getting down the football field, guys anticipating the speed, he threatens the cushion, boom, stops on a dime. That's what you open up when you're such a good route runner. Now I told you, for as good as Malik Nabers is, sometimes there's going to be good coverage. And even in those moments, Daniel Jones still has the ability to trust Malik Nabers, give him a 50-50 ball. Let's try to turn this thing into a 75-25 ball. That's what I talked about with Marvin Harrison Jr. We saw a hint of that versus the Minnesota Vikings, but I think it was really highlighted in this game versus the Cleveland Browns. You probably saw this catch by now, but you got to see it again. Martin Emerson Jr., man, this was a long day going back and forth with Malik Nabers, and this is kind of showcasing you why I like Martin Emerson Jr. and why I like Malik Nabers. This is teaching tape on both sides, because there's a lot we can learn by Malik Nabers, and there's a lot we can learn from Martin Emerson Jr. Now, I want to start from the beginning of this rep. So we got press man coverage, one high. Now, Malik Nabers did this in his release a lot since he came from LSU, and that's dipping his shoulder. Now, Martin Emerson Jr., he does a great job of staying low, locating that shoulder, and now getting a hand on him. I think even as we talk about Malik Nabers, there's room for him to get better against press. Really, when he gets into slot fades, when he gets into deep balls, just getting off of the press and creating more space for Daniel Jones to make it easier throw. Now, the scary part about it all is even when you get great coverage, even when we stumble a little bit, we dip our shoulder, now we're pressed, we try to give a stutter and go. Martin Emerson Jr., he feels it out the whole way. Now he turns his head around, he sees the football, he's in phase, but Malik Nabers still catches the ball. Even as we talk about improvements within the route for Malik Nabers, he still makes an explosive play. And that is what's scary, because you talk about a guy when he truly figures everything out, and he has a lot of it figured out. This is a little nitpick, but when a guy like Malik Nabers, as a rookie, he's going to get better. That's what has to be scary if you're an NFL defensive back, if you're an NFC East defensive back. That's what I'm thinking about. Man, he's not even the best version of himself just yet, man. Listen, I'm telling you. You know what? I want to get to the next play. I want to talk about a couple more things. Now, this is one of the plays that I really want to talk about, because I think Malik Nabers and Daniel Jones still building a connection on the deep ball. We've seen a couple of plays, but I think it can really get scary once they continue to build that chemistry in game time reps. Now, right here, it's like I just keep naming these corners for the Cleveland Browns. It was just Martin Emerson Jr. Now it's Greg Newsome out of LSU. He's in the slot matched up against Malik Nabers here. And it's like you go Newsome, Board, Emerson. You can't run, but Malik Nabers is ready for all of the smoke. Now, what we see right here, we get a slot fade. We got one high. And like I said, when you get this open on a route like this, we got to connect. And Greg Newsome right here tries to lunge, can't really get hands on him and slow him down. So, like I said, you wonder, okay, can we keep our balance and really explode out of this? Now, I see Malik Nabers, he dips his shoulder, boom. Now he's getting into this route. But you have to wonder, if he gets out of this a little quicker and it stays square, does that allow him more explosiveness to get down the football field quicker? It's just one of those conversations that you have to have. But overall, he's wide open. There's no taking that away. But my only thing is Daniel Jones expecting a certain landmark for Malik Nabers to be down the football field a step quicker, or does he just miss the throw? Let me know down in the comments, what do you think about that one? But I'm just looking at it, man, and I see Malik Nabers. You see the title, Malik Nabers does not grow on trees. And these are some of the things that you see, and it's like, man, this guy already is a problem. I like this guy so much. There's still some room to get even better. And now we're talking about a guy who I think easily could be a top 5 receiver sooner rather than later. Where does he rank right now? I mean, that has to be the question. The production has been off the chart so far. The route running is excellent. The ball skills are there. He's getting into the end zone. He's getting yards after the catch. So I really want to know what you guys think down below in the comments, man. This is my breakdown of Malik Nabers. Big yak threat, can get down the football field, can kill you in the short to intermediate areas of the football field. They use creative ways to get him open. He doesn't grow on trees. This is a special wide receiver.